Both very young and very old sludge can cause poor settling and cloudy effluent, and while their symptoms look the same in the clarifier, the solutions are completely opposite. It's crucial to correctly identify the sludge condition before making any adjustments to the process. Sludge age, also called MCRT or SRT, measures how long biomass stays in the system before being wasted, usually in days. The food to microorganism ratio, or F to M ratio, shows how much food is available per unit of biomass and inversely relates to sludge age. Since you can't control the incoming food, your main control is the wasting rate, which adjusts sludge age. Wasting more makes sludge younger and increases the F to M ratio, while wasting less does the opposite. There's no one-size-fits-all sludge age. It varies by process type. High-rate systems usually have sludge ages under 3 days, conventional activated sludge runs between 3 and 15 days, and extended aeration plants typically range from 15 to 30 days. In winter, higher sludge ages are often needed to maintain enough biological mass. The right sludge age is specific to each plant and found through experience and monitoring. Foam appearance gives a quick clue about sludge condition. White, billowy foam suggests young sludge with too little biomass to handle the load, so you should waste less. Light tan, thin foam indicates healthy sludge and stable conditions, meaning no change in wasting. Dark tan or brown, thick foam points to old sludge, signaling the need to waste more. Thick chocolate brown persistent foam usually means filamentous bacteria are present, requiring microscopic analysis before adjusting wasting. Microscopic examination reveals the succession of protozoa that indicate sludge age. Very young sludge has lots of amoebae. Young sludge shows flagellates and free-swimming ciliates. Healthy sludge features stalked ciliates and rotifers, and old sludge includes rotifers and bristleworms. Dead rotifers warn of toxicity, not sludge age, so always assess the condition of organisms, not just their type. Young sludge leads to loose floc that doesn't settle well, high effluent BOD due to insufficient biomass, no nitrification because nitrifiers are washed out, and vulnerability to load swings. Old sludge causes pin floc that looks good in settling tests, but results in poor effluent clarifier denitrification that floats solids and higher costs from excess aeration and wasting. The sludge volume index helps distinguish these conditions, but microscopy is essential before changing wasting rates. Because nitrifiers grow much slower than other bacteria, maintaining nitrification requires longer sludge ages, especially in cold temperatures. In winter, sludge age often needs to increase to preserve nitrifiers, but this can cause pin floc and higher aeration costs. The best practice is to start increasing sludge age gradually in autumn before temperatures drop, tracking mixed liquor temperature and watching for signs like a falling SVI and rising effluent solids. When adjusting wasting, it's safest to change by less than 10% per day to avoid destabilizing the process. Don't rely on effluent solids as a guide since they lag behind changes. Instead, monitor sludge age trends and microscopy. During startup, expect several phases: minimal wasting with young organisms at first, gradual buildup with free-swimming ciliates, then normal wasting as stalked ciliates establish, and finally steady state with rotifers and nitrification. Common mistakes include treating all turbid effluent as one problem when young and old sludge require opposite fixes, trusting low SVI values that can mislead, adjusting wasting Berlin sludge if lag behind, delaying winter inventory buildup until after ammonia rises, making wasting changes during toxic events instead of addressing the source, and blindly following sludge age targets instead of plant-specific baselines. Remember the key rule: if sludge is young, waste less. If old, waste more. Guessing wrong only makes the problem worse.